And welcome back, one and all, welcome back to DreamWeb. This is going to be the final part of our Let's Play, and we have a few more people to dispatch, so let's not muck around, let's get on with this. Now, the first place we're going to go is going to be the boathouse, and out of the 3 people, now is it 3? Yeah, out of the 3 people left to kill, we only actually have to really dispatch 2 of them ourselves. Okay, so boathouse, where are we? There it is. Okay, interesting little puzzle. So what we need to do is we need to go to the pipe first thing, and we're going to use that bottle we picked up way back when and fill it with water. Okay, it's quite disgusting, but we thrust our hand under the filthy pipe. So the water bottle is now full. We also want to take this railing. There we go. It's not like we've got enough things that we can pry something over with, if you get what I mean, but we have to use the railing, and I'll explain why now. Now, the boathouse has an interesting little security system. To be able to get into this place, we need to do something with this here junction box. If you're installing a security system in a cyberpunk world, don't make it so it can be easily attacked. Surely that's, well, saying that if this was a true cyberpunk game, you'd end up with just someone plugging a bloody cable into a box nearby and they'd short the system out. So, we're going to uncolour it. So there we go, now we can get to this junction box. And we need to use that bit of railing. Again, it's not like we have 16 other billion things we could pry this open with, but the railing will do. We're also going to clear our inventory at some point, because it's getting a bit cluttered. Okay, now how do you short out our high-tech security system? You pour water on it, of course. And of course that now blows a lovely hole into the entire place and does a bit of damage to our target. I do feel quite bad about how we've done this, but oh well. It's actually quite interesting in the voice acted version of the game. Her voice acting is actually probably one of the better ones, but you'll see in a minute. Yeah, Underwood is a bit fucked. I think we blew her legs off. Nothing we really need in here, so let's just talk to her and get this over with. She's in a pool of blood and entrails. She's still alive, trying to claw her way across the floor with her fingernails. Oof, trying to get away from us. But she knows our name. Now again, if we're going for the Insanity thing, he's obviously probably just hearing this, but then this lends its idea to the idea the DreamWeb's real. Again, same as I said last time, he's insane and the DreamWeb is actually happening. We confirm our name is Ryan. She wonders how long it would take us to find her. We have to kill her and everyone else. And she asks us to end the pain. We want to know where the others are, but of course she won't give up that information. She wants mercy, she wants the heavens, she wants to die. We have to kill her. And we have to use the gun. So the game's not sadistic at least. It doesn't give us the option to use the knife or anything else. Okay, that's her done. Back to the DreamWeb. Let's see what the good old keeper of the DreamWeb's got to say. So that is 1 more down with only 2 more to go. And to be honest, the last 2 aren't actually that long to deal with. There is 1 puzzle though, which again requires the Diary of the Madman book, and it's a sod. But I'll explain more about that when we hit it. I don't actually like this last portion of the game as well, but again I think you'll see that in a minute. So the keeper, what do you have to say? There's only 2 left. They are very strong. We can feel their strength. We've got the priest named O'Rourke and a violent psychopath now named Beckett. Apart from the whole Project 7 thing, in the documentation we found, you've got to really think none of these guys really have anything in common apart from the fact they are Project 7 and they refer to each other. Now, I find that a bit odd, They're not like, it's not like it's 7 people all in power, especially when you've got like this guy. So far, and you could have argued that people like David Crane being a singer, most people were at least in the public eye or held positions of power, like the general. But I want to say that this guy is in the public eye. If he's a violent psychopath, maybe. The priest has reached entropy, which means he'll transcend. That's a weird one with the priest. We're basically saying, can we reach it in time? We must act quickly. If we can't get to the priest, we must then pursue Beckett. Let's go. So yeah, the game gets a little bit fruity from now on. A bit too fruity for my liking. Because it does actually sort of completely push out this insanity or like, well, sane or insanity argument as well. But it's more the locations as well. We've had a nice varied sort of mix of things. And they've, considering this is in a cyberpunk universe, they've actually held mostly cyberpunk ideals. So we've used machinery, even just then, we just blew up a security system, we've moved cranes. It's all been quite fitting with the period that the universe we're going for. But these last two, well, this next one more precisely, the last area I don't have much issue with, but this next one I'm not really a fan of. That and the actual location is as dull as anything. And we have washed up further along the beach. I quite like the sand angel we have created. But for the sake of it, I'm going to read this sign, because I thought this was quite funny. Danger! Polluted water. No swimming. And you wonder if you swallowed any of the water. Very nice. Onward! So now we're going to go to the church, and this will be the last location we actually go to in the game. No, not Chapel's house. Ruined church. Now I stood here when I originally played this and went, oh, the door's open. Why can't I get into the location? And I kept trying to click on the doors and I couldn't do anything. For some reason my mind did not interpret this as a barrier. I just thought it was something on the floor, and that is a slight issue you could say with the top-down perspective. And the fact it's grey. And the floor's grey. Well done, game. Now we need to use the wire cutters that we picked up in that car earlier. I've seen some, like one guy, say you need to use a wrench. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but I will believe it. Okay, I'll tell you what then. Also, we are going to quickly clear stuff out. Because we don't need any of this anymore. Yeah, we'll clear out the first one as well. There, I think we've got enough room for everything we need. We're going to need to pick up something like 7 or 8 rocks, so we need the space. We also want this hand. This will unlock a clue in just a second. Okay then, there is this altar. Now, what we're going to have to do, I'm going to use this second slot, because unfortunately we have to just grab it all. Put all that in our inventory, and that actually opens up a hole on the desk, which then we have to use the hand with. Now what we need to do is we need to move this entire altar. If we don't put the hand in, it won't. It's sort of locked down with casters. Apparently this is really hard work. Okay, now, against my better judgment, down the hole. And then we need to open this stone slab. Obviously this is our sarcophagus. Well, yeah, no, sarcophagus. So we want these 2 shiny red balls. And we also want to get this rock. There's a dagger in there, but it does absolutely nothing. So it's just going to clog our inventory if we take it. We're also going to open this jar to get the 3rd red ball. Well, I say they're gems, really. Now, how do we get out of this room? There's no escape. There's a pressure plate type thing here. And literally, all we have to do is just place the 3 balls on it. Quite an easy puzzle. When you actually spot there's a plate there, amongst all the grey. Seriously guys, you've got a nice colour palette, use it. I'll tell you what, we want those. Oh, we'll get them on the way back. Now this is the puzzle I was on about. So there's a tall stone statue with a crystal set into the top of the stone. These symbols are in the Diary of the Madman book. And I'm going to be honest, this is one that I had to look up back when I played this, and even actually recently. I have flicked through it, and I do understand vaguely how you're meant to figure this symbol out. But when I first played this, I literally just went through every combination until I got it right. Luckily, that doesn't actually take too long. I've actually literally got it drawn in front of me. And it's that one. If you're playing a cracked copy of the game, just like the passwords will be already done for you, and on the cracked copy you can just hit that top gem and it'll just work. But on this copy, of course, we have to do things properly. Okay, we want those rocks. Chuck in the inventory. And there'll be another rock in this room here, and then the rest of the rocks are near where we want to be. So apparently Beckett's got a nice little thing going on under the church, by the looks of it. But has he reached entropy? And what the fuck is entropy? Being the more valiant question. Some doors we can't unfortunately get through, but Beckett's not that way anyway. Another rock. This is actually quite a nice puzzle as well. We need to collect a load of rocks and put them in a little tram car. Why is there a little tram car down here? Well, a little, you know. A mining cart. The answer? No fucking clue. I wish I could tell you. But this will allow us to break out this area, because at the moment we're locked down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to do the painstaking process of literally going duh, duh, and putting each rock in. And what's slightly more annoying is you have to fill this cart up with every single rock down here. If you don't, there we go, we're going to get a huge push. It will not push it. It has to have the correct amount in or it won't work. And with a bang and a crash. No, I don't want the rock. My cart breaks through the wall. We turn left. We go up the stairs. And what will we find, I wonder? Oh. Well, that's lovely. And he's reached entropy. Now, how does this factor into the main story? It doesn't. They sort of, when we spoke to the keeper of the DreamWeb, he basically said, oh, the last guy's got the key, the psychopath. Beckett didn't have a key on him for the DreamWeb, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. Although now, this is the interesting thing. If you actually think about the DreamWeb, there are actually there are only actually 6 doors. Okay. There's 2 as you're walking down and then 2 either side. And there's meant to be 7. So, obviously the programmers knew this. Well, that's my guessing anyway. If we actually look at him though, there's a sickening stench coming from one of the mutilated remains of the priest. His flesh is stretched and split to grow into long, veiny tendrils that reach across the room. Delightful. So Beckett is not an issue. So now this will be the final area, which is the infamous subway section. When I say infamous, this is actually rated as one of the most impressive, almost disturbing game deaths of the time. You will see what I mean. Now, he's going to ramble on for quite a while. Now, without voice acting, this means just having to look at the text. So the king and queen are dead. All of what he says is actually pretty nonsensical and insane. Actually quite an interesting thing if you've been reading what he's been saying. Okay, he's going to come at us actually. We'll talk about this in a minute. We could, of course, just get a gun and shoot him. But nope, here we go. Video game death. Yeah. That was actually quite impressive at the time, and it still bloody is now. And overall, the actual gore value in DreamWeb is quite something to behold, especially with the dark, macabre nature of the entire thing. But we have done it. We have taken everyone down, and according to this guy, we are more than likely going to be reborn on Earth and actually then, I guess, be hunted in the same way that these guys were. The DreamWeb has been freed. The commanding positions have been filled. There's no absolute good or evil, but only neutrality. They will protect the web, even though we have done all the work. Yeah, we did all the work. They get to sit there scot-free in their orange robes, and we get to pay the consequences, because there will unfortunately be consequences for everything we've done. However you think about it, we've killed at least 5 people. I'm not counting the priest or Chapel. Chapel was killed with the terrorist explosion, and of course, the priest turned into a squid monster. So the question is, what do we get for our valiant service to mankind? We get this. This is very much like a Night of the Living Dead ending, if that makes any sense, where the hero has basically persevered and got through all his troubles, and then this happens. And there we go. That is the fate of Ryan. The DreamWeb has been saved, if there even was a DreamWeb to begin with. Was Ryan just another mad lunatic wandering the streets and killing people? We will never know. Nice thing about this, Creative Reality, to the best of my knowledge, are the same guys that also went on to make Martian Gothic, which is another game that I'd be really interested in finally looking at. I've played it a long time ago but never completed it. Overall, DreamWeb is a fantastic game, but I think it relied too heavily on... I like the fact that Diary of the Madman came with the game, and I like the fact that it added to the story, but I do feel that perhaps more of that should have actually been put in the actual game. If you played this without the Diary of the Madman book, which you can do if you were to find a cracked copy of this game, you'd never sort of have the madness elements even in your mind at all. And I think that takes away from it. If you played this literally as a game without the madness elements, you will just quite happily believe everything that's been said to you, and you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm a protector of the DreamWeb. But with the added documentation, it does throw in a lot of things to think about. And I think by not actually incorporating that into the main game, you are reducing the impact of the game. Is that needed, though, would be the other thing. Have I sat down at all and thought that that has detracted, is what I'm trying to say? And that the answer is no. Overall, DreamWeb is a very enjoyable experience, if not very, very dark in nature, and I'd recommend that if you haven't played it, seek out the version at least with the voice acting and experience it for yourself. And if you don't fancy doing that, then again, go to the link in the description and have a flick through the Diary of the Madman document that comes with the game. And here we go, as you can see, we are joining the DreamWeb. Nice little ending there.